spermatozoa. So pretty much they're providing nutrients, so as the sperm cells grow, they have, they're being provided nutrients by these cells. So this pretty much has a kind of characteristic oblong shape. So notice how you have this kind of oval or oblong shape and this euchromatic nucleus with this very prominent nucleolus. And usually they tend to be pointing towards, or they're oriented towards the lumen. All right, so we have two Sertoli cells sitting here in the middle of the developing cells. All right, so usually they're oblong, kind of oriented towards the lumen, and they have this euchromatic nucleus. And they're usually a little bit larger than your developing cells, so they kind of stand out a little bit. All right. So let's see if we can find some Leydig cells in here. All right, so again, what we're looking for is these acidophilic cells that are sitting in the connective tissue between the tubules. I think this might be some. Or is that oh, that looks like probably a tubule. If I can find a good section where you can see them. No, I think we have some here. Oh, wait.
Don't give it away.
Alright, I think I found some on the other side. Some good ones. Alright, I have another slide of the testes. Let's look at this one. Alright, so I think we have some here. Alright, so notice this, we have a tubule here, we have one here, one here, one here, and then we have these cells that are sitting in the connective tissue between the tubules. Alright, so these are our Leydig cells. Actually, we have a few over here as well. Alright, so alright, we're not seeing much of the acidophilic staining. Staining isn't that good. But again, what you have is this euchromatic nucleus, and you can see this very prominent nucleolus inside it. Alright, so those would be your Leydig cells here. So we have a bunch, and they're usually kind of sitting together, so you usually see a bunch of them. Alright, that's in between our, there was some more over here. Here's like 3 of them sitting together. Alright, so those are your Leydig cells. And then in here we can actually see some Sertoli cells here. We have our spermatogonian sitting on the basement membranes. And this is actually a primary spermatocyte. So even though it's pretty close to the lumen, that's primary spermatocyte. Alright, so, okay, so here ID the cell, identify the cell. What are those? Spermat. Yeah. I hear the sperm. I can't hear the last part. They all start with sperm. Spermatids, yeah, those are spermatids. All right, so remember, very small, compact nucleus closer to the lumen. All right. Okay, how about this one? ID the cell type. Sertoli cells, yeah. Okay, how about this?
Or what's the other name? The better name?
Spun.
The other name for the Sertoli cells. Substentacular cells. All right, how about this one?
The second name.
Hmm?
What's that one?
Spermatozoa. Okay.
Because it's non-spermia, it's a spermatozoa.
All right, so once the spermatozoa are made in the testes, they're passed to the root testes, and then they move to the epididymis. All right, so it's in the epididymis where maturation is going to take place. All right, so again, the epididymis is just a series of tubules, of coiled tubules, and the sperm pretty much are stored there until they're called upon. All right, so with your epididymis, what you have is a pseudostratified epithelium, and we have these very long microvilli that are called stereocilia, which are not cilia, but are microvilli.
In this case, the correct answer would be stereocilia, not microvilli.
All right. So we have our pseudostratified epithelium and our stereocilia, which is not cilia, but it's microvilli. So remember that. All right. And you tend to see spermatozoa in the lumen. You won't always see it, but what you're looking for is your pseudostratified epithelium and the microvilli. So pretty much that's the characteristic appearance of your epididymis. All right, so the sperm are stored there. That's where they become mature, they become motile, and then once you have an ejaculation, then they're pushed from the epididymis and they move into the vas deferens. All right, so your vas deferens, it's a little bit similar to your, the epithelium is similar to your epididymis. All right, so it also has a pseudostratified epithelium, but this is a single tube. All right, so you're not going to see all those tubules as we saw with the epididymis. It's a single tube. You'll see all, this is all you see on the slide. You have your pseudostratified epithelium, and you have your microvilli as well. They are not as long as you'll see in the, are not always as distinct as you see in the epididymis, but they're there. All right, so we have our pseudostratified epithelium. Again, you might see some spermatozoa in the lumen. All right, but not always, so don't always look for that. But you have your pseudostratified epithelium, your stereocilia. And another characteristic is this thick muscular layer that's surrounding the tube. All right, so notice how thick this wall of muscle is. All right, so if you see a single tube, very thick muscular layer, pseudostratified epithelium with microvilli, then that's our vas deferens. All right, so once the sperm passes through the vas deferens, we have two glands that are going to be adding secretions that make up the semen. All right, so the first one is our seminal vesicle, and this is pretty much a low power ID. So this is also a series, well, it's one gland, but because it's coiled, it looks, when you cut through, you're seeing these different sections here. All right, so pretty much you're just looking for this kind of characteristic appearance of the mucosa. So it has very thick mucosa, and notice you have a lot of folds inside the mucosa. So it gives it this kind of honeycomb appearance. All right, so pretty much that's all. You're just looking for that characteristic appearance of the gland. All right, so this is your